Acceleration Nation, it is Lara Moto here, and today I am at sunny but slightly overcast Darley Moor. Sorry, the sound was a bit windy. Essentially, I'm riding two Suzuki GSXR 600 S-Rads, kindly donated by the legend John Skelly is the man behind me. This video is about ragging a 20-year-old bike round the track, practicing some aggressive parking, not so good off-road, chatting to my really awesome friend John Skelly, generally just messing around in the paddock and having a fantastically good time in unpredictable British summer weather. Also a shout out to Loose Cannon Track Days for organising these great events. This video also includes what you should expect going on a track day, a bit of a clue on your bikes, what you should bring, the tools you need, and general things to be aware of as a rider. I will also talk you through a complete lap of Darley Moor Circuit and my gear changes for a 600. If you are new here, why not subscribe to my rise? Just click on that subscribe button and ring that bell. And if you're coming back, thank you very much for coming back. You're in for a real treat with this video. Had a lot of fun with the Insta360. I will see you in a bit. Now, I've always been a bit of a twin girl, and I've had the Ducati Supersport twin. I've raced a CB500 twin. I've raced a kind of Ducati Monster in a twin configuration and an 1198. And I did have a little stint on a Kawasaki ZX6 600, and that was quite fun. But so learning to ride this, which essentially means have to rag it. And I'm really enjoying just chucking it around Darley Moor. Here is one full lap of the circuit. It's only a minute. I find it fascinating watching my eyes with the clear visor, and you might enjoy the screaming S-Rad on its way around. So that's me back in safe from a few successful sessions on the red bike. So just to cover things you might need for a track day, starting with yourself, obviously you're going to go with a helmet. It has to be an ACU approved helmet with a little gold sticker, and then full one-piece leathers or zip together leathers that go all the way around your waist. I wear Nox Handroids because I honestly think they're the best hand protection you can get, especially if you rely on your hands for day-to-day living, which is really important. And then I've got, I think, some Alpine Star boots on, which I find really comfortable in. So I'm suited and booted basically. I also have the Nox Aegis back protector, a chest protector, and then I've got dog tags around my neck just for blood group and identification and date of birth. And I also have an underlayer on. I'm using 151s. They give you obviously a skin tight finish, sometimes more flattering on other people, and essentially it makes it so easy to slip your leathers on and move around whilst you're on the bike. The marshals just checked my wristband. I'm wearing the yellow one because I'm in the advanced group. And now I'm just about to head out onto the track, and the Darley Moor team are just letting me go and it's safe to do so. Now, you're not meant to do this on a track day, but what I'm about to do now is a quick race start. I knew that the track was clear and Darley Moor was pretty quiet, so I just got to a sensible point in the track and then took the bike up to 8.5 grand and pulled away. I had a bit of an issue doing a race start on the No Limits Ladies race. Again, see on the link, and you'll have a bit of a giggle at that. And that essentially is the start of my track session. Ready for a lap of the track. I am in third gear, just gone past the start finish. I'm into the S's in third. I'm now going to pick up to fourth, and then late on the brakes as you dare, down into second and taking the right hander off Park Corner, and then going up the back straight. That's second, third, fourth and fifth, all the way to the back S's. You can go straight through and not touch the brakes on this. It just takes a little bit of confidence. Now from fifth, downshifting into fourth for a bit of a squirt across Townleys, and then down 2 gears and flicking the bike to the right for the hairpin, holding on, kind of keep the revs high, looking for the exit, and then we start bringing on the gas of the power. Third, fourth, fifth, sixth, as fast as you dare, for as long as you dare. I brake way too early for this paddock right-hander. Down 3 gears, down the box into third, chuck it in right hand side, try and get anywhere near the apex, and then bring it all the way to the S's.
What are you doing, Laura? Smile for the camera.
I don't know about the stickers on the S-Track.
Hang on, let me zoom in.
There
we go. What's it say?
I think they're faster with these on.
Faster, go faster stickers.
Yeah, look.
Ah,
Acceleration Nation.
Laura or Moto. There we go.
Ah.
Let Darley more. Real.
You're spelling acceleration wrong since 1985. And enough of that nonsense, let's get to the bit that you've all been trying to find, is me binning one of Skelly's bikes. So just coming back down from the back straight into the hairpin, I've committed to my turn point, I'm looking towards my exit, and I took a shortcut over the grass. Here it is in slow-mo for your viewing pleasure. In motorbike terms, this is called a low side, where you lose grip on the inside of the turn, exacerbated if you happen to take a shortcut across the grass. It's usually the nicest crash you can have underneath and away from you, compared to a high side, where the bike, the rear wheel tries to essentially snap on overtake the front wheel and buckaroos you off. I walked away from that crash at Rockingham with a slightly sore lower back, but all the Knox back protection, chest protection did their job, and I got a hug from the paramedic. This leads me on to why doing track days and race weekends are so good, because you have instant medical support for when things don't go quite as planned, compared to pushing your limits on the road where tractors, sheep, mud, dirt, anything can flick you off the road and you can be in the middle of nowhere with no immediate support. On the track, you literally have emergency services people watching you and will be there immediately if something goes wrong. So I've just managed to pick my bike up and I'm wiggling it off the track, one of my fellow riders getting a bit too close there, and I safely recover myself back to the marshal's post and head back to the pits. For a bit of post-crash analysis, I picked a turn point and I picked an exit, but I failed to pick that mid-turn point, which was really essential on the hairpin that was as tight as that. Analysing your success as well as your failures is a great way to improve, and if you really want to open your mind to how well you can ride, get yourself on a Californian Superbike school day. You will not regret it. Going back to the paddock now to share a little bit more advice for your track day. I made a couple of mistakes with the gear change. It felt a little bit different, but that's probably just me being a little bit more tired, which you have to be aware of when you're coming on these track days, because it's quite an overwhelming experience. You have to hydrate, drink loads of water, eat plenty of food, get plenty of rest, have that de-stress, that chill out moment, that de-escalate moment when you come off the track. It's just something to be aware of. And of course, if you're going to come to a track day, you can keep it as simple as bringing your road bike and rocking up and adjusting your tyre pressures, or you can go a little bit more serious and maybe consider hiring a van, buying a van, getting a track bike, getting 2 track bikes, getting dries and wet tyres, buying paddock stands, getting tyre warmers, bringing a set of tools, bringing your awning, bringing a bike crew, someone to help with the maintenance and help you get on and off the track. And then obviously keeping yourself well fed and hydrated and never be that far away from a cup of tea. However you choose to do your track days, just keep it safe. have someone there who's a backup, have someone there who's going to be in a van. Make sure that you've got a couple of recovery options if something silly happens, and you'll have an amazing day. Now, what you'll see here is the getting out of your leathers dance, which you'll see many motorbike riders do. I'll just demonstrate. And here we have the Aegis back protector. So what's the bit at the back of my bottom called? The back bone bit at the back.
Coccyx.
I think it's time we learn a little bit more about John Skelson. This chap here, John Skelson, aka Skelly, has been super kind to let me ride his Suzuki GSX-R SRAD 600. I got that right, that's about right. Now, Skelly here is a championship winner and knows Darley Moor like the back of his hand, so he's the absolutely perfect person to be led around the track. So what I'd like to do is just get Skelly to tell us a little bit more about his bike and what he's done, because essentially this red bike, his dry red bike, is effing fast. It's like it's got a turbo on it. It clearly doesn't, but he's done something because he's a capable engineer and has done a lot in his Epic workshop, which is also a great place to be. So Skelly, how did you start racing, and could you tell us more about this bike?
Essentially, I bought a box of bits off eBay,
Yeah.
which is actually the black bike, which is behind the red bike,
Yeah.
which is the wet bike. That one is a 99 SRAD with a Yoshimura ECU, gas flow head, different cams, but that's kind of it. But it's a good wet bike. The red bike here is actually a collection of pieces and items that I've collected over the years and assembled into a motorcycle. It's a bit more special than the black bike. For example, it's got Works magnesium Marchesini wheels in it.
Nice and light.
Nice and light, yes. It doesn't run an airbox, it runs an air tray. So you've got a great big plenum chamber.
Is that in here?
That's underneath the tank, so the bottom of the tank actually forms the top of the airbox. It runs an Ignitek ECU, titanium exhaust system, manual cam chain tensioner, SUZ 15 Kent cams, gas flow cylinder head, optimised squish, high compression, Works carbon fibre tailpiece.
Which is so light, you took it off earlier to change the battery over, and it's like a kite, it's like a go away with the wind. So it looks red and plasticky, but it's actually all carbon fibre underneath, which is epic.
Weighs about as much as this mug, really.
I completely agree. I sat on it for the first time, having come back off, having sat on the Super Sport for a while, and you just give it a little wiggle, and there's nothing to it. It's so light, and that's what makes the power to weight ratio so much better on this bike.
Correct, yeah, it is lighter.
Success.
Both got Öhlins rear shocks, 3-valve front forks, ZX7 radiators, silicone hoses. They're just assembled properly, set up on the dyno, and yeah, that's it really.
What rate horsepower has it got?
This one is 109.6 with 52 foot-pounds of torque. The black one is about 105 with about 49 foot-pounds of torque. So yeah.
Well, what I find the best thing about this bikes is that, well, what year are they? So
98-ish, 99.
So
Yep.
very late 1990s bikes, and around Darley you get people showing you a wheel on some much more modern equipment, and you don't lose them. The minute you pull out of park or you're taking drive from the hairpin at Darley, you just open it up and it's just so much power. It's old school power in that sense. There's no traction control, no ABS, nothing clever, no slipper clutch. It's a raw bike and raw to ride, but in that sense you have to kind of own it. You have to get it into gear, you have to get it on the throttle, and you have to ride it. But it's quite rewarding in that sense. It's almost like controlling a naughty horse. You know, I find you have to be on it, but when you do, you get rewarded with snappy gear changes, loads of information coming back from the rear wheel, and it's a fast race bike. It's really cool.
Yeah, still got it. Go on, Skel.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you for that compliment. And I must say that this is Laura's first time at Darley Moor. It's also Laura's first time riding one of my race bikes, and we've done the morning session, which was 3 sessions, wasn't it?
Yeah, we've done 3.
Yeah, moved up to the fast group, and there's not much more I can teach her about this place really. She's going very well, so I'm
Thanks, Skelly.
quite pleased, quite impressed.
Awesome.
Yeah, very good.
So that's a huge compliment, because you actually have quite an impressive racing lineage. What years were you racing?
Oh blimey, right, I first raced here on a sidecar outfit back in 1998, but that's from a previous, with a kettle engine.
Sick.
That's years ago. I first raced one of these here in 2009.
2009.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah. Is that like pre-injection?
Pre-injection 600 class,
got it, yeah.
and also the pre-98s, which didn't have a capacity limit as long as the bike was pre-98. So they are. And since then I've finished. I've won races around this place. I've had fastest lap. I've won rider of the day. I've came second and third in various championships here. I won a championship with Emra, which was mainly at Mallory Park, and then a bit more here, and I've also raced with Derby Phoenix, the North East Club as well, and Auto 66 a little bit. But
yeah. So there's a very classic racing lineage that Skelly has there. And when you go to his house, he's got this trophy cabinet that's just bulging with everything he's achieved, and it's very much as a role model. Skelly certainly sits there in terms of people I look up to, and especially with his engineering prowess. And Skelly's kind enough to let me into his workshop and learn a few things. He pretty much goes, right, get your hands on. I mean, yesterday I did something simple with balancing a wheel, but he's taught me how to strip and rebuild carburetors. And that's why making friends in racing is one of the best things about racing. It's not just your track time, it's the people you get to meet. And I think that's what makes it really special. Cool. So I'll call it a day there, but Skelly, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, no problem.
And hopefully I'm really looking forward to getting back out on the track with you and your bikes.
yes.
Thank you very much for watching. It's the end of the day at Darley. There is one more session, but I'm actually getting quite tired now. My brain has been absolutely overloaded with learning 2 new bikes, learning a new track, learning how to ride in race shift, which I have done before, but it just swaps your head around a bit, and generally just being a bit fatigued from the fitness required in racing. So I've learned what I need to do today. I'm really happy with the results. Really dropped the lap times, not that we were timing, but got to a respectable lap time, and the bike setup is good for me. So but that's all really. That's a little bit of a taster of a track day. So if you are new here, why not subscribe to my rides, join my Acceleration Nation, just click on that subscribe button and ring that bell. And if you're returning, well, I'm really grateful for you coming back. Please give it a share. We'll see where this goes. Thank you very much for watching. Cheers.